concepts of like people in the 50s, the 60s,
Yeah.
what they thought the year 2000, whatever was going to look like.
Right.
But it doesn't.
It doesn't at all. You know, like the books like 1984 by George Orwell, or things like Prince, 1999. I remember that was like a big song in the 80s.
Yes.
And then it's like those years go and they go and they're gone. And it's just like, wow, it just seems so far away.
Right.
But then it's like, wait, it's already 2022 or 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy to think maybe what we think of the future is going to be like.
Yeah.
And
It's
how
true.
wrong we are.
And how wrong we are.
We're always so wrong.
Right, yeah. So recently I thought about this because I was like, wow, I've been in Korea for maybe 23 years. And it was such a different Korea.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, wow, in the next 20 years, how different it'll be.
Yes. Well, even me.
Yeah.
The first time I came to Korea was 2009.
Yes,
It's so different from that time.
that's right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. All right. So it has nothing to do, this conversation has nothing to do with our topic today.
No, it does not.
We are taking a weekend trip to the cabin. And what are we going to do?
We're leaving it ship shape.
Okay. Ship, as in like a boat,
Yes.
ship, and then shape. It's one word.
Yes.
What is it to leave something ship shape?
To leave something ship shape means to leave it in very good condition.
Yes.
In as perfect condition as you can make it. And the reason we're using ship shape here, shape is more like the condition of something.
I see.
Right? But whenever you are on a ship, you want it to be in good shape. Right?
You want things in order.
Right.
You
well,
want
you
it
want
clean.
the actual ship to not have holes in it.
Well, that is true.
You don't want an old rusty boat. You want something that you can put it into the water.
Got it.
This ship shape is basically saying this ship is ready to go on the water.
Got it. All right. Here are some other expressions that we're going to learn. Keep something or someone out.
So to stop something from entering
All right. And get away with something.
means that you were not caught. You maybe did something bad
Ooh.
and no one noticed.
Oh, dear. Okay. Let's go ahead and listen to that dialogue.
The last thing we need to do is fill in any gaps to keep out the cold air.
How bad would it be if you waited until next year?
Well, last year, I thought I could get away with not replacing the silicone sealant around the windows. It was freezing cold all winter.
While you do that, I'll sweep the front porch and check the mouse traps.
This place will be shipshape in time for my sister's family to visit next week.
I'm glad I could help.
Alrighty, Julian begins by saying the last thing we need to do is fill in any gaps to keep out the cold air. All right, we have covered this expression, the last thing we need to do, or the
Yes.
last thing we need, which is basically what?
So in the expression that you just said, the last thing we need is sarcastic, meaning we don't want to do this.
Okay.
On our list, it's the last thing to do. However, here we are talking about the final step.
Got it. Okay. So we have to, everyone, pay attention to the context.
Yes.
This is very important. So we need to do this.
Yes.
Okay. This is the final thing that we need to do, which is to fill in any gaps to keep out the cold air.
Yes.
All right.
So we're in a cabin, and cabins, they're usually made of logs.
Sure.
통나무.
Yeah.
So they're circular. They're not like a regular house with a square wall.
Yeah.
So what you have to do is those little gaps, those little holes in between the logs, you have to fill them in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, cold air is going to blow through.
Yeah. I tell you, when I lived in the Hanok,
Uh-huh.
it was like the living room and the kitchen and everything else besides the actual rooms. It was like the North Pole. The cold air, it has such bad insulation that the cold air just kept coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was very hard to keep out the cold air.
Yes.
Okay.
So to keep out means to not let in.
Okay. Rachel says, how bad would it be if you waited until next year?
Julian says, well, last year I thought I could get away with not replacing the silicone sealant around the windows. It was freezing cold all winter.
Okay. So how do you keep out the cold air? Julian says, I thought I could get away with not replacing the silicone sealant around the windows. So I thought I could.
Yes.
But it didn't happen.
Right.
Okay. So when you say I thought I could do something.
Yes.
This is our power pattern.
Right. You tried to do something and you were wrong.
And you were wrong.
You are regretting.
Yes, that's right.
You tried it and it failed.
Yes. And so he thought he could get away with not replacing it.
Okay.
So to get away with something.
To get away with means to not get caught or not have the negative consequences of you doing a bad thing.
Okay.
So this get away, you can also think of like a criminal.
Yes.
Let's say a criminal goes to a bank and robs and gets all the money.
Right.
If that criminal runs away successfully, we say, oh, the criminal got away.
Got away, yeah.
So when you're getting away with something bad, it means you did something that didn't follow the rules, but there was no consequence.
So here he thought, oh, I don't need to replace the silicone sealant. I think it'll be okay. But actually, it wasn't okay.
Right.
And the silicone sealant is something that people often use.
Yeah.
And I've used it before. It's like that tube of white glue, kind of.
Right.
You find it in the bathroom a lot.
Yes.
Yes.
It's to keep everything watertight. The silicone sealant. I've also heard this called caulking.
Oh.
Caulking.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's a regional thing. That's what my dad calls it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He does a lot of like construction.
Oh,
And
I'm sure he's right.
You would caulk all of those little edges and things.
That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I know it was done, but I didn't know there was a name for it.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know
I've
anything.
never called it silicone sealant. I've always called it caulk.
Wow.
Caulk.
My goodness. Okay. All right. So, so he thought he could not replace it.
Yes.
But then it was freezing cold all winter. It didn't work out. It didn't go as planned. And Rachel says, while you do that, I'll sweep the front porch and check the mouse traps. Okay, so she's going to clean and mouse traps.
Yes.
Of course, TRAPS is those little traps, and you want to kill the mouse.
Yes.
Okay. And Julian says, this place will be shipshape in time for my sister's family to visit next week. If you say, oh, this place is shipshape.
Yes.
And remember you talked about your clean house?
Ah, yes.
It's shipshape?
It's shipshape.
Okay.
Yes. So shipshape meaning it's neat, it's organized, it's in good condition. So like we talked about in the beginning, it can either be it is like a ship that has to go out into the water, so there are no holes.
Right.
But if you also think about if you are in the Navy of any country's Navy, that team, the team of sailors, they have very strict rules, and they keep that ship very clean and orderly because they're on that for a long time.
That's right.
So they cannot deal with disorganization.
That's right.
That's why things are shipshape.
Shipshape. All right, great. Let's go ahead and listen to that dialogue one more time.
The last thing we need to do is fill in any gaps to keep out the cold air.
How bad would it be if you waited until next year?
Well, last year, I thought I could get away with not replacing the silicone sealant around the windows. It was freezing cold all winter.
While you do that, I'll sweep the front porch and check the mouse traps.
This place will be shipshape in time for my sister's family to visit next week.
I'm glad I could help.
it's time for Power Note. We're on pages 142 and 3. Now, keep something or someone out means to stop something from entering.
Yes.
So you can actually keep someone out too. Or keep the dog out.
Keep the dog out.
In the yard.
Yes.
Yeah, out of the house. Okay, we need a trash can with a lid that clamps in place.
Yeah, let's do something to keep out the raccoons.
Keep out the raccoons.
Raccoons love trash.
I'm sure they do.
Have you heard that raccoons have another name?
What?
Trash panda.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, does Arkansas... I would imagine that you guys have a lot of raccoons.
Oh, we have raccoons, yeah.
Okay.
And we hunt raccoons.
You hunt raccoons.
Yeah.
Maybe it's necessary.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it's necessary.
But yeah, you have to keep out certain things. If you live in the countryside,
yeah.
many times you have to keep out wild animals.
True.
So my grandfather had a garden, and the deer would eat all of his vegetables.
Oh.
So he would line his garden with fencing, and he would put shiny objects to keep out the deer.
Oh, well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Or sometimes Koreans will put water bottles outside to keep out the cats.
Oh.
There's that thing that if the cat sees the shiny water bottle, they won't come near. That would be keeping out the cats.
All right. So keeping out the raccoons or keeping out wild animals, right? Check IDs at the door. We have to keep out anyone under 19 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you are not 20 years old in Korea, sometimes you cannot go into certain places that sell alcohol. So you have to keep out what we say minors.
That's right. That's right.
People that aren't adults.
Now, in America, the legal drinking age is 21.
Yes.
And so that's why you may think, I'm 20, I can get in there. But when you go to America, you might have to wait a year or two.
Yeah. Okay. America is a little more strict in that regard.
It is. Let's just give one more example of keeping something out other than wild animals or keeping out the cold air.
You can keep out the dust. Maybe you don't open your windows because you want to keep out the dust that's flying in the air.
That's true.
Keep out the smoke if, you're cooking something.
Well, you know what they say is a lot of people actually do not open the window in the winter.
Yeah.
To keep out the cold. But it is very bad. There's indoor air pollution. So you have to air out your apartment.
Yeah, you
or
have
your
to
house.
circulate the
you
air.
Have to circulate the air. Okay. All right. Get away with something is a really interesting expression.
Yes.
It means that you've done something bad.
Yes.
And you get to
It's like a free pass.
You
don't get caught.
You don't get caught. You don't have this consequence.
Right.
I finally got a parking ticket.
Well, you got away with parking in that illegal spot for a year.
To get away with parking in that illegal spot.
Yes.
Okay. Means that you weren't supposed to park there. But you kept parking there and you were okay.
Right.
Nobody said anything. But finally, you got a ticket.
Yes.
All right. Bryce's father lets him get away with anything.
Yes.
So when you let your children get away with things, what does this mean?
It means that you don't punish them for the bad things that they do.
Right. Yeah. There is an expression to get away with murder.
Yeah.
And is it really murder?
No.
Okay.
So, if you're watching a movie or a drama sometimes, and it's they got away with murder, no one found them.
Right.
But usually what we mean by that expression is that they get to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Even the bad, they don't have to follow the rules.
Yeah. So it can be so serious.
Yeah.
It can be really bad.
Yes.
And they don't have to deal with the consequences, the results.
Right. But this can be used, for example, if you have a child, or in my case, I have a dog. He is so cute. He could do whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
I could never punish him.
Yeah.
He gets away with everything.
So this is why grandparents, grandma and grandpa, if you let your grandparents watch your kid for a long time, there's going to be problems later because grandparents will let them get away with everything.
Yeah, grandkids get away with everything.
Grandkids, it is just how it is. They are not there to discipline.
No.
Okay. Let's give one more example of getting away with something, maybe in the office.
Yeah, maybe you get away with not filing the reports that you need to do.
Oh, okay.
There are procedures you need to follow, but you don't follow them, and no one ever finds out.
Okay.
You get away with it.
You get away with it. But remember, one day.
Yeah.
One day.
Maybe you get away with coming in late, leaving a little early.
Right.
You get away with taking a long lunch.
Right. But someone will notice.
Someone will notice. Yeah.
It will come
Kristen
for you.
and Cameron will notice. We will contact you. Yeah.
We're watching you.
We're watching you.
Okay. Ship shape is to be, to have something orderly and neat and clean and organized. Okay. When does our shift end, Chef?
It ends when the kitchen is ship shape, so keep cleaning.
Okay. So this is also very true. I love those sort of like food documentaries or like chef shows. And always after the restaurants close, they spend like 2 hours cleaning.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, scrubbing. And I mean, it's ship shape before they close the doors.
Right. Well, and it should be. It has to be clean.
True.
Or people get sick.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. All right, Sam always kept his bedroom ship-shape while his sister's room was messy.
Yeah.
I am not one to keep things ship-shape all the time. But when I get, maybe twice a year, when I get inspired, I just like
do everything
at once.
Yes.
But I'm trying to do that kind of more on a weekly, semi-weekly basis.
Right. If we're talking about a house situation, you would really think the level that you expect a hotel room to be, if your house looks like that as well, that would be what ship shape is.
Yeah, so it's extremely.
Right. So even if it's clean, but you don't make your bed, then it's not ship shape.
It's not ship shape.
Yeah.
Okay. Our power pattern today is I thought I could. Oh, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, it did not happen.
I thought I could ride a unicycle, but I was wrong.
Yeah, now you have a broke nose. I thought I could study for the test in the morning, but I slept in late.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
All right. Make sure you stop by Audio Ohakdang. Subscribe for a small monthly fee. And do listen to our other show, Power Pattern. Okay. And also to Power English as well. Have a great day. Thank you for studying with us, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.